What if I told you that the single greatest social shift of the 21st century is not happening in the halls of government or on the stock market floor, but in the silent private thoughts of millions of ordinary men, and that within the next minutes you will see an unbroken thread of human behavior, stretching from the frozen gulags of Siberia to the glowing screens of modern dating apps that explains precisely why a generation of men is quietly closing the door, turning off the lights and giving up on women entirely. By the end of this, you will not only understand this great male withdrawal, you will see the blueprint for what comes next, a path that leads not to bitterness, but to a profound and unshakable inner freedom. There is a quiet epidemic sweeping across the modern world. It's not a virus you can see under a microscope, but a psychological shift, a great sigh of resignation that is so vast, it's become the background noise of our time. Walk into any bar, any university campus, any social media platform, and you will feel it, a palpable absence. The energy of pursuit of romantic ambition, of that primal drive to build and provide for a family, is dissipating like mist in the morning sun. We are witnessing the rise of the checked-out man. He is polite, he is functional. He may even be successful, but behind his eyes the fire for one of life's most fundamental games has been extinguished. He is not angry. He is not marching in the streets. He is simply done. This is not a protest. It is a quiet mass funeral for an old dream. To understand this, we must first shatter the comforting lies we've been told. We are told men are lazy. We are told it's a sex drought. We are told it's about video games or films or a failure of masculinity. These are superficial symptoms, band-aids on a gushing arterial wound. The truth is far more profound, and to see it we must journey back in time. Our first stop is not a dating coach's studio, but the frozen hell of the Soviet Gulag. In the 20th century, the brilliant writer and historian Alexander Solzhenitsyn documented the unimaginable horrors of the Soviet labor camps in his book, The Gulag Archipelago. Within this chronicle of human suffering lies a startling observation, one so brutal and consistent it became a dark secret among the survivors. He wrote of the phenomenon of the Zek, the political prisoner, and the loyalty of those he left behind. Solzhenitsyn noted that when a man was arrested and sent to the camps, his fate was often sealed not just by the state, but by his wife. In a staggering number of cases, wives would publicly denounce their imprisoned husbands to save their own social standing or lives. They would cut ties, remarry, and erase him from memory, often before his body was even cold in the frozen tundra. This wasn't universal, but it was a pattern so stark it could not be ignored. The Solzhenitsyn secret wasn't just about betrayal, it was about a fundamental survival-based calculus. When a man's utility, his ability to provide, protect, and offer status was abruptly zeroed out, the bond of loyalty for a disconcertingly large number of women evaporated into the pragmatic cold. The Gulag survivor learned a terrible truth. For many, a man is not loved for his essence, but for his function. Now let's bring this out of the frozen past and into the warm, well-lit living room of a modern man. Let's call him Mark. Mark is 28, a software engineer. He has a good job, his own apartment, a decent life. He downloads a dating app, the digital equivalent of a social marketplace. He spends hours crafting his profile, swiping, engaging in witty banter. He finally gets a date. He pays for dinner. He listens intently. He performs all the functions of a good guy. They have a nice time. He texts her the next day, radio silence. A week later, he sees her Instagram story. She's on a date with another man. Mark feels a familiar pang, not of heartbreak, but of irrelevance. He realizes on a subconscious level that he is one of dozens, hundreds perhaps, in her queue. He is a profile, a set of photos, a list of functionalities. Does he make her laugh? Check. Does he have a good job? Check. Is he tall enough? Check. But the second a slightly better functioning model appears, his utility is zeroed out. He is the digital Z, his profile sentenced to the algorithmic gulag. He isn't being rejected for who he is. He is being swapped out for a more optimal set of features. This is the loyalty paradox. The very technological and social system that promises connection has systematically dismantled the conditions for loyalty by creating an illusion of infinite better options. The man who feels less like a replaceable part in a machine will eventually quietly stop trying to be a part of the machine at all. This isn't just anecdotal. The data paints a stark and undeniable picture. A 2022 study by the Pew Research Center found that a staggering 63% of men under 30 describe themselves as single, compared to 34% of women in the same age group. Think about the sheer staggering asymmetry of that number. This isn't a minor trend. It is a demographic chasm. Furthermore, research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology on mate value and commitment reveals a brutal truth. Both men and women assess partners based on mate value, but women hyper-aware of their own value in a marketplace are significantly more likely to decommit when they perceive a higher value option. The study concludes that mate value discrepancy is one of the primary predictors of infidelity and relationship dissolution. This is the cold hard science behind the quiet withdrawal. Men are not giving up because they are weak. They are giving up because they have been subconsciously running a cost-benefit analysis on their own souls. And the calculator is reading error. The cost of constant performance, the emotional investment, the financial burden, the risk of being traded in for a newer model is now catastrophically outweighing the perceived benefit. The modern dating market is a rigged casino, and a generation of men has finally learned to count cards and walk away. But to truly feel the weight of this, we must travel to an even darker chapter in human history, a case study that reveals the extreme limits of female loyalty under societal collapse. Let's go to the final plague-ridden days of the Roman Empire. The plague of Cyprian around 250 AD was a horror beyond imagining. The historian Dionysius described streets piled with corpses, a stench of death so thick it choked the cities. Society broke down, law and order vanished, and in the private diaries and letters that survived, a pattern emerges. There are numerous accounts of wives abandoning their sick and dying husbands, fleeing the cities to save themselves, often taking the remaining family resources with them. They weren't monsters. They were humans operating on a primal survival algorithm. When the civilization that propped up the male's utility, his role as soldier, breadwinner, protector, utterly collapsed, the bond for man,